Welcome to the Encore. Today, we're going to talk about Halloween.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So,
Where's the thriller video?
Right. We've talked about different celebrations of like Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. We're getting close to Halloween. I do think Halloween it's not quite the same. It's a little bit more unique and has a lot more weird stuff. Let's just say that.
I think so.
So we want to talk about it. And basically, we're asking the question, can we celebrate it? So what do you got going this morning, Wesley?
Here's my question for you, Scott.
Yeah.
The get to know us portion of the show. I was thinking about this.
I always have like a little bit of anxiety when I just like, I don't know what's coming.
I think you should be a little anxious.
Oh, no!
Yep. What is the thing that I was thinking about how to frame this question. I was thinking about driving in this morning. What is the thing that is most annoying to you? I think about yourself, your personality.
Wow.
Okay, so I can give like a mine, like I can give you, like I can open this door a little bit. I shoot my mouth off too much sometimes. Okay. I'm not talking about like preaching, which I know what you mean. You know what I'm saying? Like I will get into a conversation or people will be talking and I just offer opinions that don't need to be offered I'll be sarcastic when it ended up being hurtful and I just come away going, you stupid person. Like shut your mouth. Like like you don't know the context. You're like, "Oh, I think it's this." And then later I'm like, "Why are you dumb?" Like, so, and it's just a challenge of my life. Maybe it's one of those things where like your gifting is your vulnerability. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yes, 100%.
I can say words, and if it's for the glory of the Lord, God seems to use it sometimes. But you take it for yourself and you shoot yourself. You know,
totally.
So that bugs me about myself. I'm better than I used to be, but it's always a battle, and I still trip, and then I got to apologize, and I'm like, you're so dumb. Like, shut your mouth. Like right now.
You're still going. So when you said that, I did think, what did you say? Your gifting is also your vulnerability. Is that the word you used? Yeah, I would say, as I think through this, I'm going, it's hard to say because part of this, I'm going to say, like I actually like about myself and I'm grateful for it, but it takes me to places I don't want to be. And it's the fact that nothing is black and white to me. And I mean nothing. So like there's always misunderstandings or questions of going, I don't know. How would you know about this or this or whatever? So it's very, I do hate that about myself. Like sometimes I'm like, I just want to be told. I just want to be told what to do and do it. Sort of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's probably, it has its benefits, but there's a part of me that's like, yeah, I wish I didn't have that,
What do you call that?
What do you call that?
I don't know that skepticism is the right word. It's not the wrong concept, maybe, but
yeah, I don't.
Inquisitive,
curious. I don't know. I would say not intellectual.
What are you talking about?
I'm just goofing.
I don't think that's the case.
Inquisitive is a way. Curious,
but that's not. Also, that's not. That doesn't necessarily mean that someone could be black and white and be an inquisitive person.
Yes. Skeptical.
We're almost talking about something else.
I know. We got to come up with a word. I hate when you say skeptical, it sounds so negative. You know what I mean?
Well,
but it could be the right word.
It does have a negative connotation, but I think there should be a lot more of it out there because I don't think it has to be negative. For example, people just believe things in the news, or they believe what a politician says, or they believe what a supposed documentary told them. You should not believe that at face value. People are very clever in their portrayal of things. So I'm like, I'm not like you, because I know you, so I know kind of what you're talking about. But I never really believe anything. I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, well, maybe that happened. Maybe it happened that way. That's what you wanted. That's the part of the story you wanted to tell.
Right.
But so skepticism, I think, could be afforded. Actually, we'd have a lot less of these. I guess clear divisions in America
sure.
or in society where people there's only these two positions, or there's only, good and evil. Like there is a slide scale, I guess, of context.
Yeah.
And you live in that very much. Like
very much. Yeah.
Way in that.
Yeah.
On many things.
Every level. On every level. Yeah. So that part, it frustrates me, but at the same time, it's the same thing of like, I do think it is a gifting, and I think it helps me, if this makes sense, care for people, like to see where they're coming from, try to put myself in their shoes type of a thing. Yeah. Empathy, sympathy type of a thing. So
no, it is a gift. It's a counseling gift, I think.
Yeah.
If someone comes in, my spouse is a terrible person. Why are he or she, why are they a terrible person? Because they did these awful things. I think you would go beyond that and go, well, why though?
Yeah.
And what was provoked, and you wouldn't just go, oh, don't do that anymore.
Right.
You're right. You're wrong. It's over.
I couldn't say that.
Right.
Cool. All right. Halloween, dude. Every year, I should say, I feel like I gotta know the origin of Halloween. I swear to you, I look this up every year.
What you're gonna, yep.
And again, Halloween's coming up. We had this, and I looked it up, and I'm going through it. And it seems like it's never been. Here's my black gray area life. It's never been settled, but there's so much mix of the origin of Halloween.
Yeah.
All right. So
I agree. I've done this before. I'm foggy on it right now, but I remember going, wow.
A lot of things. So there's a lot of cultures mixed in and whatever. I'm not going to get into years and everything about that, but essentially, it is this celebration of. So Hallows Eve is actually the word Halloween, right? Yeah. All Hallows Eve.
I knew that one.
You did know that one.
I knew that one.
Yeah, it's actually like an end of the year. So winter would be ending, summer would be ending, going into winter. The harvest is over, and there's also like combined in this is sacrifices to spirits and dead ancestors. There's all of this kind of coming into play. So then tomorrow of Halloween, November 1st is All Saints Day. So it goes into that. But there is a belief. So some of this is like Celtic origin, which, by the way, why are they called the Boston Celtics?
I think because we're pronouncing it wrong.
So it is Celtic. I never even really thought about it until recently. Boston Celtics, right? You wouldn't call them the Celtics, but it probably should
be
the right.
We could be those type of annoying people and go around and start doing that.
Hey, how the Celtics doing this year?
Yeah, the Celts. But no, what we say, the Celts, right? Are we wrong? Like the people, the warriors or whatever, the Celts? Is it the Celts?
The same thing. Yes, I think it's the Celts.
I think you're right. Celtic music, Celtic dancing. Yeah. There's no Celtic.
It's probably one of those things that the other pronunciation has become okay. That would be my guess.
What else is like that?
Oh goodness, root. That just came to mind.
That's different than Celtic and Celtic.
I felt like we talked about another pronunciation that was similar to this recently. Origins of things. I don't know. I can't come up with it. So end of the harvest. So there's this weird.
So it comes from. What were you saying about that though? The Celts.
Oh, the Celts. The ancient Celtics were the ones that were attributed to this, like these. This
is the origin region, the Irish.
Well, it
the
is
Lucky
like
Charms.
It's bigger than Ireland, but I think it ended up being the biggest in Ireland. It's like all Western Europe, so a lot of it. England, Ireland, even down into France, Spain, probably out in Germany.
All right,
Western Europe. There's a big.
I got you.
But I do think when you think Irish, Celtics, all of that, it goes to Ireland.
Riverdale.
Okay, anyway. So they would sacrifice animals and things like this for essentially...
Wow, it's aggressive.
...to say thank you to their gods.
Which are what?
I don't know. Multiples.
So some kind of...
Not Yahweh.
I don't think so. Some kind of spirit being that did what? Brought about the harvest?
So they're thinking
Dagon or something?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. There's just multiple gods. So thankful for the harvest that they had. And then so then you bring into it like they would say that the spirits of the dead would visit them during this time.
What dead?
Their
ancestors.
But it was like there's like this 24-hour period where more people would come in. So they're looking for ancestry and hoping to connect with them. So they would put out a table with food and treats
for the dead people.
Yeah, ancestors. But any dead person can come.
They come hungry,
I guess. So they're trying to say, hey, we love our ancestors, but evil spirits come too. The bad guys come in with it.
They do.
So what do they do to ward off those evil spirits, you
Put
think?
Scary monsters on the porch?
A pumpkin.
A pumpkin.
Carve out a pumpkin.
It scares the bad spirits away.
Get them out. Yeah. Yeah.
That's real?
I think so. Like, I mean, there's a lot. I read a good amount of this.
So a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
What is that? What do you know where that comes from?
The Celtics. I don't know. I mean, I don't know where it comes from. Just this idea that the harvest, right? So you got pumpkins.
Well,
and
I
stuff
wonder
happening.
why they think a pumpkin is scary to an evil spirit. I don't know if there's something to that.
I don't know. Okay. So, anyways, there's treats on the table. You could see maybe some of the trick or treat type thing coming out of this
for the good people.
For my family, my dead relatives.
Yeah.
Like, let's come and celebrate.
Okay.
And then they would also say that if you went out after night, you would wear a costume to disguise yourself as an evil spirit, because if the evil spirit saw you, they would come after you. So
hence the monstrous.
My mask, makes them think I'm also an evil spirit. I'll leave them alone.
Okay.
Very weird.
Well, it's very bizarre now.
There's a lot going on.
Can I ask a parenthetical question on the same subject?
Yeah, I might not know it. But
what's that Mexican thing?
Yeah.
It's
Dia
similar.
de los Muertos.
Jeez.
Yes, it's the Day of the Dead.
What a guy right now.
It's from in Coco, the movie Coco. You seen Coco?
But which is based on a real thing that they believe.
Yeah,
the plot is based on a Mexican spiritual heritage thing, right?
It's similar to this thing too. Where,
do you know anything about that?
Yeah.
What's that thing?
The Day of the Dead is it in English?
The Day of the Dead. That's what I
said it in Spanish. The Day of the Dead is is how that is translated. So it is basically they are remembering their dead ancestors.
So it's similar.
Mm-hmm. It is similar. I would imagine the time frame is similar in all of that. I don't know. Yeah, and then
Okay, we'll go back to the Celts, but that made me think of the Mexican Day of the Dead.
It's part of it. So here's the thing: like I think of that and go, in and of itself, it's a little bizarre, but I don't necessarily have a problem with somebody like having a day where they would remember their ancestry, right? So the difference with the Day of the Dead,
a little bit different.
Well, I know.
Okay.
I'm just trying to start and then move into it. The difference is they're now trying to communicate with them.
Forbidden in the Bible.
Yeah, for I think 24 hours, something like that. It's like this day.
They have a 24-hour window that they're trying to do this. All right.
Communicate with the dead.
All right.
For what reason? I can't remember. Just because they're family and they want to. But
how's everything going over there in the spirit world?
Right.
That's okay.
Right. Okay. So all of that to say, and then Catholics came along and made like an All Saints Day, which is November 1st, and they said we want to remember the saints, those that gave their lives for Christendom, I guess. I don't know, whatever you call it. And then there's like All Souls Day, where they pray for
another one.
This is like purgatory. You're praying for the in-betweeners, the souls of the dead,
to pray them out of the purging place,
and into heaven.
Okay.
So there's so how I think I wrote this down. Halloween, All Saints Day is called Hallows Day. I don't know, Hallow, sacred, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Halloween is the day before. The Eve.
Okay, just to review.
Yeah.
So one is the Celts. What is All Saints Day?
So
and which one is the Catholic one?
The Catholic
Souls Day.
The Catholics brought in Saints Day and Souls Day. So it's more of like now God is a part of this, right?
Yeah,
this whole thing.
Okay.
So this is kind of where we're at. I'm sure there's somebody out there going, he got a couple of facts wrong, and there's so much more in depth. Probably true.
I'm glad you're saying them all, because
I tried to do my research on some of this. And
did you do your own research?
What does that mean?
That's what people love to say now. Well, I've done my own research, which means they read something on the internet.
What isn't that?
Listen, do we or do we not live in a time where everybody likes to say they've done their own research as if that nails it to the wall?
Okay, I would
that whatever research is their own is the correct point of view that they have come to.
Right.
Do we not? I'm not telling people not to research. People use it as like a FBI badge. Like, I've done my own research,
and I got the answer.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Well, then teach me. As if we come in a vacuum of ignorance. Like,
I know.
Well, what is
I've done my own research.
You've done your own research.
So I am trying to say.
So whatever you have to say now is absolute fact because you, sir, have gone to the internet and done your own research.
So I know everything there ever is to know about.
Oh man, I'm gonna make some people mad. I'm not trying.
No,
to
I know it's funny. It's funny.
It's so funny. People say it, and it's like, so you have nothing to say to me then because I have done my own research. Shh. Well, I'm done.
Okay, so I am trying to say that I have done research, but I'm admitting I'm sure there's some gaps in here and a lot. So some historian probably knows a lot more. Anyway, okay, I want to get to one more question before we get into our response to Halloween.
All right, to the Devil's Day.
You said it, Devil's Night.
Is that what you're going to bring up?
Yes, I was going to bring up Devil's. No, I was going to bring up Devil's Night, and because we went to the same school in Virginia.
Me and you. College.
Sorry, yeah. College. And I had joked about Devil's Night, and I think everybody said, "What are you talking about?"
I remember this. I had a similar experience.
So, did you know that Devil's Night is a Detroit thing?
So no, I would have to say no, but now that you say that, it's ringing a bell in the back of my mind. So say more.
What do you know is Devil's Night? I'm just going to start with that. What is Devil's Night? If I said Devil's Night, what is that?
Devil's Night. You go out the night before Halloween and you set things on fire and blow up mailboxes and stuff. Yeah. You trash the
trash stuff. So
in honor, I guess, of the devil, you become the devil to people that have personal property.
You act like the devil.
You're the
Let's
devil.
call that. Yeah. You act like the devil.
Yeah.
But
that's what I know.
So I go to school. I go to Liberty, and I'm like, I wasn't really gonna do. We just joked about like, hey, it's Devil's Night. You guys doing anything? So there's innocent versions of it too. Whatever. It's a TP in a dorm. I just want to say sorry.
Yep.
And people were like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like,
nothing.
Devil's Night. So I find out at Liberty that it is a Detroit thing. And
really, have you done your own research on this?
Yes, I have done.
Really, you did, and it's a Detroit origin.
I have another fact to add to this. Yes, it's a Detroit origin. So much so that I think even moving out to Fenton, like I grew up in Pontiac and Waterford and Clark's. Like it's a little bit more metro Detroity. Mm-hmm. So there's still like whatever Detroit vibes. You get out here and it's gone. Like.
Detroit, I will say this. When I was in high school, which was a long time ago, I don't know about now.
Okay.
Devil's Night.
Oh, okay. Had
some problems in this town, yeah.
Okay. So.
But, yes, okay.
Yes, the mayor of Detroit.
Which one?
Archer. Dennis Archer. 90, I don't know.
Post Coleman Young, I believe, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
90, maybe.
I remember
he actually started a...
like a task force.
Angels Night.
Angels Night. I remember that.
And he said, we are going to change because people were literally burning down houses on Devil's Night in Detroit. And he said, we're going to change it. So they would do like a neighborhood watch, Angels Night.
Yeah.
So much so that is why you don't know of it anymore. Like I
remember the news covering it. Like things were on fire. Yes. It was crazy. People keep their family in.
So then so year after year, it literally lessened and has kind of not become a thing anymore, which was a good move by Archer. Pretty cool. Let's not burn things down.
Mayor Archer.
I know.
Come on the show and tell us about
come on.
Devil's Night.
Yeah, that would be cool. So
listen.
Yeah.
Now it's like what do they call that when you like remember something that isn't the true you retroactively remember something through a certain filter that isn't real.
Okay.
I felt like there were national news stories about this, but I might be wrong. It might be Michigan news stories or a national story about Detroit, but I felt like this was a national problem, but I don't know why. I have no basis to think that.
I don't know that. I mean, it might have been.
Like, I feel like people were running around Chicago setting things on fire, but maybe that's just every
it's
night.
Not to. It's just every night. I think I'm sure it spread a little bit. I'm sure it was known, but let's just call it's like a Coney dog, dude. It's Detroit. It's Detroit. Anyway, let's move on. You seem perplexed about something.
Coney Island is New York, and we mistake that Coney dog came from Coney Island. Is that what we do?
There's no time to get into this.
Okay, go.
Let's just say the
All
the Coney dog is a Detroit thing, and people outside of it don't know that either.
Well, I would encourage them to do their own research.
Yeah, I do, and eat 6 of them too. Okay. So now we got to ask the question: as a Christian, this is different than Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. We talked a little bit about some of the issues that come in with it.
It's a bit different.
There's some weird stuff. There's
now
no
explain
denying.
Take a moment. What do you mean by Easter Bunny and Santa Claus? People might be going, "What?" I think they know, they're intelligent, but what do you mean?
We did do an
Christmas
episode.
trees is another.
Yeah, there are pagan rituals that come into these holidays. For instance, the Easter Bunny, the one laying eggs. Remember that?
Yeah, the bunny that lays eggs that you thought. Yeah, we fixed that. The bunny, the Claus,
Santa Claus himself, and
even the tree,
and then how we celebrate it. So so there's questions of, should I teach my kids about the Easter Bunny and Santa? But I think this one is a little bit different because, anyway, go back, find that episode. We did do it somewhere. Should I celebrate Halloween? There's no doubt, like it's weird. Whatever all of this stuff is, it is. I mean, we'll call it pagan in the sense of it's not Christian. These rituals and things like this that were happening. Right. But does that necessarily make it something that you and I should not do? So I'm going to start with you. I've been talking a lot about history and
I've been fascinated with
Day
this
of the
conversation.
Dead in Mexico, and
I can't believe how much you know about. You were speaking another language a minute ago.
I was. I know. I did live in Mexico for 2 years.
I know
so
that.
You know.
I know.
But
that.
anyway,
you wanted to say that.
live in Mexico. That's another time. What do you got? So somebody comes to you, Pastor Wes, should I celebrate Halloween? Where do you start? 20-minute intro.
This is tough, especially after everything you just said.
I know.
Here's the thing. People, to maybe this very moment, including myself to some degree, have lived their whole life ignorant to the origins of such things. So let me start with something easy. I don't think it's edifying as a Christian to go out and dressing up like the demonic. To have your children, I want to be a blood-sucking vampire. I don't know if that's a good thing to do. I wouldn't recommend that. I've never allowed that.
So you're saying like specifically the type of costume?
Yeah, so let's take something.
Can I be Darth Vader? Or Winnie the Pooh?
Right. So then the question that we're really asking, like if you're a Christian, you want to argue that you can act like, you can go out and dress like, John Wayne Gacy and think that like, I would say there's something deeper to be explored that's not good.
Yes.
So
that's good.
the answer, no. Like if you want to argue that you can, I don't know if we can have a rational conversation. So let's assume that people are like, yes, I'm not talking about the demonic. I'm not talking about the excessively violent and these kind of like, come on, get real. Darth Vader, Batman, because in America we have a culture that around a time of year kids collect candy and have fun dressing like Superman, and you didn't really know like everything comes from something.
Right.
Oh, Scott, I'm gonna say this. I don't think it's a cop-out. I think it's a biblical. I think this falls into the category of meat sacrificed to idols. The Bible literally says that Paul said, I'm free.
Yeah.
I can eat meat sacrificed to idols. Well, where did that meat come from? Why is it meat? Why was the animal killed? What was the ritual performed? It was in worship of a false idol, which is an abomination to God.
Right.
He said, I'll sit down and have a steak. But if it's a stumbling block to my brother or sister in the Lord, then I defer. I defer to the weaker brother. I do not. I think this is like that. I do. I think things of this nature are like that. I do not have any right to impose this on other believers.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you got to let it go. Let your kid dress up like Batman and Superman. No, you don't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If because maybe you come from a spiritually dark heritage and this brings reminders or this unearths things or you feel that this opens doors to things that you don't like as a Christian, you can remove your whole family from it. You can be right with God, and no one in Christianity or otherwise has a right to judge you for it.
Yeah.
Say, well, it's just Superman. No.
Yeah,
You can walk away, and I get why you do, and I honor and I respect that greatly, and I don't impose that on you. However, I don't know that person that has those convictions has a right to judge the motives of somebody else and go, because of where this comes from, no Christian anywhere should do it. Because we could say that about meat sacrifice to idols, and the Bible doesn't say that.
Yeah.
That's where I'm
that's
at
good.
with
no,
it.
Yeah, I think it's really good. Yeah.
And so I'm happy to disclose where our family's at with it personally.
Mm-hmm.
And if I grow along the way, which is allowed, if I change convictions about it, I'm happy to share that too. I won't allow demonic. I won't allow spiritual darkness to be celebrated. But there is an American culture that has kind of redefined what this is and the purpose of it.
Yeah.
And it's meat sacrifice to idols to me.
Yeah.
I got pumpkins on my porch right now. They're not carved like the devil. They're not carved at all. They're just pumpkins on a porch because it's kind of a fall tradition in Michigan.
Yeah.
Does that come from a jack-o'-lantern? I think it does.
Yeah.
And I'm not scaring away bad spirits.
Right.
It's like,
yeah.
Yes. I leave it there.
That's good. So the other question I would throw in there is, we always use the word celebrate. Like, what's it mean to celebrate? Well,
okay, sure.
What are you celebrating? Because I think, like you're saying, if you want to have fun and make light of a mass murderer with blood coming out of his neck, like that's not something.
An axe having somebody's head. Like, come on, guys.
Right. And then, but I'm totally with you. I think. I had this here, Romans 14 is kind of where that idea comes from. And he says, one person esteems one day better than another, while another esteems all days alike. Each one should be fully convinced in his own mind. Yeah. The one who observes the day observes it in honor of the Lord. This is in the kind of the same vein that you're talking about, too, of putting our ideas on somebody else. But here's the thing I would say, too. When we put our ideas on somebody else, and I don't mean to accuse, but I'm just kind of, hopefully people are asking the question. Somebody would say, I don't celebrate Halloween, but I'm going to have a harvest party at my house and have candy over and let my kids dress up as costumes, but we're not going to go trick-or-treating.
We're going to just call it a harvest party and keep it at our house and do the exact same thing.
And I would say, okay, fine, you can do that.
Go ahead.
Don't absolutely do that. Don't mock the kids that are going trick-or-treating and make it look like they're worshiping the devil.
You're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, make it what you need it to be. That's okay for how you can answer that for yourself as to how that's honoring. But so in celebration, I'm with you. You would never want to celebrate the idea of a satanic thing of a killing.
I want to say to people out there, I referenced some verses and I just gave a commentary on it. Those verses I was talking about come from 1 Corinthians 10. I'm not going to read them all right now, but the principle from which I was drawing, and there are others in the Bible too, but they come from the latter half of 1 Corinthians 10 is where I was getting that. But because you said Romans 14 on that one, I think it's good to we're drawing these convictions from Scripture. I do think we can back what we're saying with the Bible, and at no point is this we're not advocating for a celebration of Halloween, but like you say. There are some people that come in strong judgment of it in a certain way, and I don't know where you're coming from on that. I do, but I don't know if you've given a whole picture of.
And I would
because then we're gonna have to talk about Christmas too. Well, just because we as Christians celebrate Jesus, you don't want to go too far to where the origins of Christmas come from, or you're gonna all of a sudden say, based on the same principle, we can't do Christmas anymore. Right. We got a Christmas tree in your house for that's not a Christian thing. So we made it. Is it any? It's different, yes, because it doesn't come from maybe as dark of a thing, but it's not Christian.
Yeah, Yeah. So I would say both of those passages. There's a lot in there that we're not reading through. There's several verses. Almost all of Romans 14 kind of carries that out, and then would you say 1 Corinthians 12?
I said 1 Corinthians 10.
10. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So read through those two. But I would say too, I do respect absolutely the people that are like, no, you know what. we're just not going to take any part in Halloween. It's just a normal night of my whatever that is for you. I would say there is great respect in that.
We have to.
Yeah.
It goes both ways. I think.
But it goes both ways. I would say you do need to respect your brothers and sisters in Christ too, that for their reasons decide to let their kids trick or treat. Now, that's not to say we can't have the conversation. That's not to say you can't say, "Can I ask you why you let your kids trick or treat?"
I think.
Can I ask you why you wouldn't let your kids trick or treat? Like have that conversation, and I would imagine we could both learn something from each other. Just to be clear, my kids do trick or treat. I think they're a little bit bored of it. I'm not sure if they're doing it this year, but
same,
whatever.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, I mean,
I will also say this: like you and I have sat out in front of your house and given out cards with candy to things that lead people back to the Rock Church or lead people back to where the gospel is preached.
Yeah.
Paul no longer observed Jewish culture, but he said, to the Jew I became a Jew, to the Gentile I became a Gentile, so that by all means I may win some. Okay, I mean, I get it. Like we've done that. Me and you've done that together.
Right.
Right. Hey, and we have
what other day of the year is somebody going to walk up to your house?
They're literally walking to your door
and ask you for stuff. So
you can take advantage of that for the Lord if you feel free to do so. If you have a conviction to not, that's fine. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at with it.
I think you've heard Christians talk about the idea of like redeeming something that is pagan.
Yeah,
like, I think that's I don't know if that's an overused Christian way to look at it, but that is something that we can do. Like, we use the word pagan in the sense of meaning just it doesn't come from a Christian background or whatever, but there are things in this world that you can use to redeem for, meaning like I want to use that to proclaim Christ. Something like that is how it goes. And then like there are other holidays that you would celebrate, whatever celebrate means, that have nothing to do with any Christian origin either.
Right.
And like that's okay. Somebody celebrate Martin Luther King Day? Sweet. Like what a cool thing that is that he did, that we're in a place of being able to vote with our black brothers and sisters in Christ. Like that stuff is cool. So yes, like that's an idea of whatever that the origin of those holidays come from. I don't know.
Someone might push back and say, so I think people can also overuse the redeeming thing to justify
yes, I would agree.
Some sinful or spiritually dark thing they want to do. Mm-hmm. I do want to give that to people out there because I hear people say, like, well, that's not what I mean when I do it. Yeah, well, it's the only way it's understood, like. Mm-hmm. All right, so like, I don't want to start something here, but so yoga comes to mind.
Okay.
It's got a bad origin.
Uh-huh.
Like it's bad. But so people will say there's Christian yoga.
Right.
No, there's not. Is there? I don't.
We're totally going on. I don't have a problem with yoga.
Like stretching routine or flexibility, range of motion thing, but it's not yoga. If you're doing yoga,
I see what you're saying.
It's not Christian. You're doing yoga. It's based in an Eastern religion. Like so, you don't do, Christian Buddhism, right? Like that's the same thing.
I don't know I know what you're saying. I don't know the history of what yoga is. Like if like you're gonna stretch and do exercises and meditate and pray to the Lord, like. Cool. I don't know if that's yoga or not.
It's not.
I know what you're saying.
It wouldn't be yoga anymore.
I know what
if you're doing yoga, then it comes from a bad Eastern religion where your poses are in worship of like spiritual entities and mimicking these things and inviting these things into your life. Like so, then you just because you guys are saying that you're a Christian while doing it. Doesn't make that thing Christian. Like to me, then I get in it. I'm not trying to judge people that do everything else. I'm just saying, like we can't say that everything, if you do it in the name of Jesus, gets redeemed.
Definitely,
right?
Yeah.
Like,
yes. No,
so I just want to like
you could
balance this conversation a little bit.
100%. Yeah, and I think let's end with this. So, whatever, yoga or Halloween, whatever it is. Let's end with this. Like, so what are the filters that you would run somebody through? Pastor Wes, I don't even know if I should let my kids do trick-or-treating. It kind of bothers me, but my kids want to do it. What are the questions or the filters you would say? Just run through these, and if you can answer these, you're good. Where would you go with that?
All right. Well, maybe here. All things are lawful. 1 Corinthians 10:23. I'll just start reading some of this stuff. All things are lawful, but not all things are profitable. So he's saying just because you're allowed to do something as a Christian, that you're not condemned anymore. You don't lose your salvation. You're not under the judgment of God. Doesn't mean it's profitable for you to do it. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
That would go towards what you're saying.
So
for sure.
is this profitable? He says all things are lawful, but not all. And when he's talking about lawful, he's talking about before the Lord. We're not talking about like, is it illegal?
Yeah.
He's not talking about the local police department.
Yeah.
I just sometimes, I want to clarify terms. All things are lawful, he said, but not all things edify. And so is it profitable to you? Someone might say, yeah, it could be profitable. Does it edify? Does it build you up? Does it, in some way? Someone might say this is quality family time that we spend together. Someone might say, I don't have a dark spiritual past in my family.
Yeah.
I understand those things are out there in the wind. We're not going to go in that direction. This is also now become an American culture thing. We're going to be careful as we navigate that, but this is quality time. This is profitable for our family. This edifies us as a family unit. However okay, go ahead. Someone might say this is not profitable for us. This is not edify. So another filter, let no one seek his own good, but that of his neighbor. So he says, eat anything. He's talking about meat sacrificed to idols. Eat anything that is sold in the meat market without asking questions for conscience sake. But then he says, if anyone says to you that meat is sacrificed to idols, do not eat it. For the sake of the one who informed you, basically don't do it. So even if you're free, even if it's edifying to you, is it an offense to somebody that's present in your life at that moment? You being a stumbling block to them would be prioritized over whether or not it's good for you.
Yeah.
So there are things that you could talk about drinking alcohol. There are things that people would give as examples, like, I'm okay with it. Yeah, but it's a problem for this guy. So that just because you're free, don't do it. He says prioritize that person. So if your neighbor is a person you're trying to be a witness to, or they're a newer Christian, they got a real problem, you're like, well, I'm going to do what I always did. Maybe not. Maybe not this year. You don't put your decorations out.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, I think.
Yeah.
And then then you can find things, like talking about certain spiritual things. I mentioned yoga. I probably started a fight. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah,
but
you did.
I don't know if there's anything profitable or edifying in practicing a dark spirituality with a different name. You'll have to work that out. How about that?
Yeah.
They'll have to work that out.
Yeah. And this goes along with this, too. This is part of the Romans 14. It says, for if your brother is grieved by what you eat, kind of that meat sacrifice style, says, you are no longer walking in love. So that is the idea of, like, considering that other person walking in love. Like, this is truly going to bother my neighbor, my friend. I'll consider it. So, yeah. Okay. Did we say enough? Did we get in trouble?
Well, I didn't. I hope not.
Okay.
I wasn't. I was just trying to.
You brought up yoga out of nowhere.
Well, I was just trying to get. Well, because I can hear people.
I know.
Because people say
the
we're redeeming this. You're calling. I don't know if that's possible. Some things are condemned. You shall have no other gods before me. Don't. There are certain things like. I don't know about that. Like. Well, I commit sexual immorality, but I do it for the Lord.
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't know if
there's
you can.
definitely things.
So it's like you have to work that out.
For sure. Yeah. Okay, good stuff. We got a good one coming up next week. I'm going to hold the topic till...
I don't even know what it is.
Uh-oh. All right.
Shoot.
Cool.
Oh, I think I know. Oh, boy.
It's time. You can't wait for it. Okay. Hey, as always, don't take our word for it being his, and we will see you next time on the Encore.